The Federal Bureau of Investigation. An American police organization, it's attached to the Department of Justice and handles crimes that occur on American soil. There are approximately 30,000 people who work for the FBI. When crimes take place involving a wide area in multiple states, the FBI investigates under federal law. So it'd be weird to have an FBI at a fire or robbery. I think that's what they were saying. Crease's house, did they mean where she lived in America? Her mother should still live in America. Is that what fire was? And the words like robbery and the investigation was called off. I really want to know more. I stood there and worried until it was time for the lecture to begin. With nothing else to do, I went inside the theater. I could tell earlier by looking at the size of the crowds going inside, but was that good? Oh yeah, it was good. It was a very high energy crowd. High energy. The atmosphere was clearly different than Izaki's seminar, which was mostly students there for credit. The place was nearly full with a crowd of scientists and people who wanted to learn about cutting-edge technology. Victor Condria's researchers have published a slate of papers in science recently, and have gotten a lot of media attention. Maybe that was why. Were there any open seats? I found a single open seat at the edge. But when I looked at who was sitting next to it, I moaned. Oh. Of course. Of course. You again? Moika Kiryu is there. Speaking to no one, just typing endlessly on her phone. It's pretty typical. I once named her Shining Finger because of her incredible typing speed, and she was as fast as ever. Who was she talking to? I didn't even want to imagine. Huli turned away and looked for another seat. Dr. Leskinen reached the podium at the exact instant I sat down. Ah yes, a good doctor. Woohoo! There was a huge wave of applause. But when they saw the tiny little girl come up next to him, the applause faded into confused murmurs. Maho must have expected this. Her expression didn't change in the slightest as she stood next to the professor. In fact, when she took the microphone from the professor and looked around the theater, she looked like she belonged there.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, English. Ladies and gentlemen. First, Dr. Leskinen began to speak in English, and is really quiet. When I made eye contact with Maho, she began to interpret.
Thank you for attending.
皆さん、本日は私のセミナーに集まってくださって感謝します。
Thank you for joining my seminar.
ビクトル・コンドリア大学脳科学研究所のアレクシス・レスキネンです。専門は脳信号処理システムおよび人工知能理論になります。
I like the English with a Japanese accent. Especially his brain signal processing systems and AI theory. Interesting.
そして私は助手の比谷城真帆です。同じく脳科学研究所で教授の指導に沿って研究をしています。よろしく。
That was the same way I responded when I met her. The audience is murmuring. Yeah. Well, that'll happen. Yeah.
では早速ですが、私たちの最先端研究の一端をご紹介します。
I'd like to get right into it by introducing some of the cutting-edge research we're doing.
テーマは人工知能革命としましたが、これからデモンストレーションするシステムはおそらく皆さんの想像を超えたものではないかと思っています。
They're gonna demonstrate the system they're gonna demonstrate today is gonna go beyond anything you've ever imagined. The AI revolution. Artificial intelligence, which is shortened to AI, there's many definitions of it, but for example, some use it to refer to control systems with self-directed learning capability, whereas others use it to refer to programs whose thought routines mirror humans. Okay. Robots, AIs, and blah 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 blah. Cool. Neato. So, the doctor stood in front of the podium in front of the laptop that had been on the place on the podium and started to type.
This terminal here is connected to
このパソコンですが
computers
研究所のスーパーコンピューターの一つと接続されています
Okay, so they, doing some cloud computing, like up in their labs.
まだプロジェクターには映さないで
Don't turn the projector just yet. Okay, one of the staffers was gonna display. So, a kind of important program must have been booting up because Maho Hiajo stopped them.
Sorry, this is all
す
still
み
in
ません
development.
まだ開
We
発途
haven't
中なん
had
です
time to develop much of UI.
非常に美的センスのないプログラムが画面いっぱいに溢れ返っています
Oh, it's just a bunch of, by a bunch of windows and stuff of, terminals.
Honestly, I'm a
こんな
little
チープな
embarrassed
プログ
by
ラム
all
を
this
見られるのは
computer
恥ず
data.
かしい
I almost feel like
裸を
I'm
見られるよ
naked
りも
here.
ね
Rather let you see me naked than let you see these lousy programs.
Any engineers out there?
この中にエンジニアの方がいるなら理解していただけますよね
If there are engineers in the audience, oh boy. I don't know, I like my pretty programs. I don't know. Ha ha ha. Some
Anyway,
people
what
got the
is
joke.
finished?
起動するまでの
I'll
間
give you a quick
この
overview
システ
of
ム
our
全
system.
体の概略を説明しましょう
She'll go over the basic idea of the system, or he will, and she'll interpret it. There was another projector in the center stage. The diagram appeared on its screen. At the top of the diagram was a Japanese translation for the general audience. I can't read that. An analysis of neural pulse signals relating to the memories stored in the temporal lobe. What are you talking about? Neural pulse. So, exactly what it sounds like. An electrical signal that travels through a human's nerve cells. It's used to quickly spread information between cells. Temporal cortex is part of the cerebrum located at the side of the brain. It controls memory, judgment, emotional restraint, hearing, and more. It's also used for accessing the hippocampus, which is on the side of the cerebrum. Okay, so they're basically analyzing your brainwaves. Neato. Oh boy, I knew that title well. In fact, I was sure I could never forget it. It was the title of an essay written by a 17-year-old genius, published in Science. She had completely analyzed the nerve impulse patterns that govern human memory and used that to digitize the memories themselves and their data. Well, I wonder who that was. And she had used this to invent the time leap machine right in front of my eyes. Though, none of that actually happened because, timelines.
We've actually been featured in a few
サイエン
journals
ス誌に
recently.
掲載されたの
So
で
some of you
ご
may
存知の
already
方もいるで
be
しょう
familiar with the project.
Paper featured in Science, so I'm sure some of you have seen it before.
It was proposed by a very talented
これ
Japanese
は
member of our team.
私たちのチームにいた天才的な日本人研究者によって提唱され完成されたものです
A brilliant Japanese member of our team. Funny.
Human memories are stored in
人間の記憶は
several
大
cortex,
脳
particularly
皮
in
質
the temporal lobe.
とりわけ
A little like flash
側
memory.
頭葉に記録されますいわゆるフラッシュメモリみたいなもの
Cerebral cortex is like flash memory. I see. It's the gray-colored external layer of the brain. It is only a few millimeters thick, but consists of over 10 billion neurons in countless layers. The central core governing sensation, movement, and mental activity. Different parts handle for different functions. Neat.
The part of the temporal lobe that
そのメモリに
controls
記
the
憶を
typing
書き
and
込んだり
reading of memories is
読み出したりするのが
our
側頭葉にある海馬傍回という部位になります
The hippocampal gyrus is found on the outer edge of the outside edge of the hippocampus. It's the part of the brain that controls memories and spatial recognition. It is responsible for spatial processing as well as the sensation of being familiar with a situation or place. It plays an important role in memory encoding and retrieval. So they're saying the reader and writer of the flash memory is called this place, this edge of the hippocampus. Neat.
The brain work by
So Dr.
transmitting
Poyet,
Nova.
signals
yeah.
between
ニューロンと呼ばれる細胞の間を 電気信号が伝わっていくことで働いています。
The brain functions by sending electrical signals between the cells called neurons. Yes, the neurons are the cells in the brain and they do the thinking. Electrical pulses flow between these cells to share various types of information, making it sort of a transmission mechanism. Cool.
記憶というのも実はこういった電気信号の伝わりの一つなのです。その働きを制御しているのが海馬傍回と言ってもいいでしょう。
Memories are actually just the transmission of these electrical signals. It's a hippocampal gyrus that controls them.
つまり電気信号が海馬傍回を出入りすることで記憶は作られていくんですね。
So you create memories by passing electrical signals in and out of this area of the brain.
そこでマキセ・クリスはこの論文を書いた日本人研究者です。
Ah, yes, the Japanese scientist who wrote this paper.
マキセ研究員は考えました。
Miss Makise came up with an idea.
海馬傍回を通る電気信号が電気信号のパターンと大脳皮質の
electrical signals, signal patterns, cerebral cortex. Maha was having trouble with interpreting. I see. Got kind of complicated. She's getting kind of confused. No matter how good you are with languages, interpreting for a long period of time had to be difficult. Once read an article on the internet that said even a professional can't do it for more than 20 minutes. International conferences and live broadcasts from overseas were actually handled by a team of people switching off. Or maybe. Is she having trouble because Karisu's name came up? The doctor said she saw she was having trouble and cut himself off.
すみません。
Aw, she's sorry.
マキセ研究員は海馬傍回を出入りする電気信号のパターンに着目しました。
Miss Makise focused on the patterns of electrical signals going in and out of the gyrus.
そのパターンが大脳皮質のどの記憶と対応しているのか解析を行って完全なデータを得たのです。
By analyzing this pattern, she was able to get complete data on which memory in the cerebral cortex it corresponded to.
これによって記憶という曖昧でアナログなものを電気信号のパターンの組み合わせというデジタルなものに変換する基礎理論が確立されたのです。
Oh, I see. So it lets us turn analog memories into digital electrical signals.
これがサイエンス誌に掲載された彼女の論文です。そして現在、私たちのチームはその理論をもとに人間の記憶をデジタルデータとして取得するシステムを開発しています。
Trying to work on a system to turn a person's memories into digital data. Whoa, whisper, whisper. Everyone whispered.
それはすなわち
Which means
人間の記憶をコンピューターに保存しそれを活用するシステムということになります。
Oh, I see. So they can store someone's memories on a computer and access them. Oh boy. Whispers turned into a loud roar. I see. So even after her death, Krisu's research was being carried on. Of course, maybe it's natural that it would be. That was the basic theory for time looping, which I proved myself, even if I could never prove it to anyone else in the Alpha World line. My memories have been turned into data and stored on a computer. There's no doubt about that. What the doctor was talking about right now was the basic technology required for the process.
現在、私たちが行っているプロジェクトは主に2つです。1つは医療分野への応用です。
Two major projects we're working on right now. One uses for medical. That makes sense.
こちらは精神生理学研究所と共同で行っているプロジェクトです。
By passing data from a computer
コ
to
ン
the
ピューターに
computer
保存した記憶データを
rewrite memories to
海馬
the
妨害
original
を
brain.
通して再び元の脳に書き戻すというもので
Incredible!
Incredible! Someone who looked like a grad student in the front row shouted. The doctor didn't seem particularly put off by this interruption. Maho continued her
You don't
interpretation.
believe it? I know how you feel.
信じがたい
I've been thinking the
です
same
か
thing if I were you.
その気持ちは理解できます。私も皆さんの立場であればそう言ったでしょう。
But let me just ask you.
しかし
Can you imagine
この研究に私たちは手応えを感じています。これが実用化できればどんなに素晴らしいことでしょう。
How wonderful would it be if we could make this
We could
work?
treat memory loss
例えば
independently or
老化による記憶障害
that currently you have
あと
matured.
はアルツハイマーなどそうしたものへの対処療法が期待できます。
This would be a form of symptomatic therapy. So we treat the symptom, right? Yeah, you're not trying to cure the cause of a disease, but to alleviate the symptoms and relieve pain. Painkillers and fever reducers are examples of symptomatic therapy. Right, because they don't treat the underlying problem. But still useful. So yeah, you could use this to help people with aging or Alzheimer's so they could remember things better.
Anyone's
Right.
memories could be
患者の記憶を
backup
データ
as
として
digital
自
data.
動的にバックアップしていくのです。
You can back up the memories with
Even
data.
if a memory is lost,
記憶が失われたとしても
it's possible to
その都度
access
PC にアク
and
セスし
reinstall data in the
脳内
brain.
にデータを再インストールすることが可能です。
If you lost your memories, you could just go to your PC and reinstall them. Well, there you go.
We could halt the progress of
そ
senility
れ
and
によって
dementia.
忘
That's the
却
sort
の
of
進
thing
行
we
を食い
believe
止
this
められるのでは
research
ない
can
か。
accomplish.
私たちはそう考えています。
You use it to stop memory loss. I mean, but this is Steins Gate though. Would you go to like your phone and like reinstall them? I mean, just saying.
Eventually, it would be
最
possible
終
to
的に
directly
は
and continuously
海馬妨
access
害から
data stored on
PC
the
内の
computer
記憶
to
データに
our
常時
headquarters.
アクセスできるようになるでしょう。
So if the brain were to lose
そうすれ
significant
ば
functionality,
脳機能が失われた状態、例えば脳が激しく損傷したり萎縮してしまった場合などですが、
the system would essentially
そのような状態でも
take whatever part of the
変わ
brain
ら
was
ず
fired.
脳機能を維持できます。
Think of it like an
あた
external
か
hard
も
drive.
外部ストレージと同じように。
It would be like a form of external storage. A data storage unit that could be used from detached from a computer or cell phone. So like hard drives with flash memory. Okay, so you have additional storage basically for your brain memories. That's nice. A strange feeling gripped the hall. Part of it was shock, and the feeling that they were witnessing the announcement of an incredible technology. Part of it was skepticism that a system like this could ever actually work. Part of it was the revulsion at the idea of playing around with the human brain like that. The excitement born out of all these things passed from one member of the crowd to another. The doctor raised his hand to encourage questioners.
I'm seeing some of you have questions.
どうやら2つ目のプロジェクトをお話しする前に質問を受け付けないといけないようですね。
And take
I'll
questions.
answer as many as I can. Go ahead.
できる範囲でお答えします。どうぞ。
Many hands were raised. I could tell that there was a wide age range of people interested. Both the young and the old were raising their hands. The doctor pointed to a questioner. This was the first question. Sampling would be required when digitizing analog memories. Does that mean that any information would be lost? Oh, right, because you'd have to, like any kind of analog signal, you have to take the data at regular intervals, and that's how you digitize things. That's how it works. So you get like a little waveform file. Does that mean any information would be lost because you're only taking certain time samples? So the professor might be able to understand Japanese but not speak it. That's interesting.
Let me replace that.
その質問を言い換えると、
To put your question another way,
You're talking about attempting to
オーケストラの生演奏
orchestral
を
components and how you
ワブ
can
のデータに
effectively
保存する際、
replicate and make the best lossless
生演
form.
奏のすべてを完璧に記録することはできないと。
Oh yeah, yeah, WAV files, like that kind of stuff.
That's certainly a concern.
確かに
It's one
そ
of
の
the
懸念はあり
most
ま
pressing
す。
issues our
現
research
在
is
の研究で
addressing right now.
最も困難な問題の一つです。
Ah, it's one of their biggest problems.
Now, if the intercerebral network
脳
is
内の
simple
ネットワークが
format for
神経伝達物質
like
の
memory
オ
data,
ンオフだけで
it would be easy.
つまり二進数的にデータのやり取りをしているのであれば簡単な問題でした。
Right, if the brain's network was simply like neurotransmitters binarily turning on and off, it'd be simple, but it's not, right?
それはデジタルデータと同じことだからです。
So about be like the exact same thing as computer digital data.
しかし実際には伝達物質や電気信号は脳内でアナログ的に変化することが分かっています。
The brain is analog.
So at present, the best
この
solution
問題
is
に関しては
simply to store data
今のところ
at the earliest possible
より
sampling
高いサンプリングレートでデータをサンプルする方法しか手段を持っていません。
In musical teams, you could
音
say
楽の話で言えば
something at 48
44.1kHz よりも 48kHz 48kHz よりも 96kHz でサンプリングするといった具合です。
Yeah, you have to increase your sampling rate.
It's still digital data, of course,
それによっ
but
て
the information we
デ
are
ジタルで
gathering
ありなが
is
ら
as close as possible
アナログ
to
データ
analog
に近い情報を得ようとしています。
Little by little, the moon in the room was turning to disappointment. People were beginning to wonder if this was just a pretty theory that wouldn't work out in reality. More questions came. All the questioners were skeptical of the professor's theory. Many of them seemed to be outright challenging him. Starting upset. This was Dr. Leskinen's research, but it was also Kurisu's. I knew better than anyone that it worked, and the sight of so many people refusing to give it a chance infuriated me. Were these people really scientists? I tried to keep myself under control and look back towards the podium. Was she mad? She certainly looked disappointed. Dr. Leskinen was very polite with the rude questioners, acknowledging the problems with the theory. She was different. Her anger was seeping into her interpreting too. I felt a kind of kinship with her. The questions and answers session continued.
そもそもこれは医学的に無謀でしょう。デジタルデータを脳に書き戻すなんて絶対に不可能だ。正気の沙汰ではない。
This is insane. It's impossible.
サイエンス誌に掲載されたあの論文も読みましたが、にわかには信じられない。ましてや、筆頭著者が若干17歳の女性だったとあっては。
Oh.
あなたね。
Objection! Are we Phoenix right now? Oh my gosh.